Oh, hello. Welcome into my workshop and welcome to the show Creations in Clay. My name is Louis Palladini, and tonight what I'd like to show you how to do is, everybody has this animal in their backyard. I'd like to show you how to do a squirrel. And I want to show you how to do that squirrel from start to finish. And, they're very cute little animals, and, you see them scampering around your backyard. And, I know that sometimes my wife puts out bird seed, and I think the squirrels get it more than the birds do. She always tries to chase them away. They're little acrobats. You put it up on the little stand, and they just know how to jump over and get it and chase the birds away. But I'd like to show you the types of clay that you can use. There's an oil-based clay such as this, which never hardens. It's I've mentioned in the past, I used to use this all the time when I was a little kid, make things, and then just when I got tired of whatever I made, I just made something new. And this one's multicolored, so you can, make, like you see here, they got the lime with the grass and everything, so it's pretty cool. Another type of clay that you can use is an air hardening clay, which will harden in a couple of hours or overnight. This one here, you can paint it. So once it's hardened, just paint it and it's permanent. The bad thing about this clay, you can't reuse it. My preference for the clay is a clay called Super Sculpey, which you can fire in the oven at about 275 degrees for about 15 or 20 minutes. You can sand it, drill it. You can do a tremendous amount of detail with it, and that's why I prefer to use it. I will show you the size balls of clay that you can use. Tonight we're going to do this size ball here. We're going to use for the tail. These two other balls of clay here we will use for the legs and feet. This other ball of clay here will be used for the body. Then these two smaller balls of clay here, we're going to use those for the arms. We're going to use this ball of clay here for the head. And these two smaller balls here, we'll use those for the ears. And then we get some smaller balls, we'll use those for the eyes. And I'll get another piece of clay for the nose. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to make the body. And I'll show you what that will entail. We want to make this part of the squirrel right here, right now, the body. And then the next thing that we will do is we'll proceed to make the tail. And we'll make that shape. So I will show you how to do that. We got the ball of clay here. Kind of squeeze it in your hands like this. Just like this. And I'll show you the shape that you want to make. Just kind of want to squeeze it like that. Just like that. And what I'm going to do is, see that? That's the shape you want. That's what it looked like from the other side, the front. We are going to take now and tap this on the table a little bit, right down here. So we just tap it like that. And we'll leave that. I want to proceed to make the tail now. So we're going to take this piece of clay here, and I'll show you. We're going to lengthen it out, and I'll show you the shape that we're going to make. Just going to pull on it. See how I'm just kind of pulling on it like that? We're going to make, this is going to be the bottom part of the tail right here that I'm squeezing right here. So we'll do that. And then we're going to, because you want to make it nice and big and fluffy in the back. So I'll show you. See how I'm kind of pulling that like that? Just like that. Do that. Let me see. I want to see if that's about right. So what we want to do now is we want to connect. This is what the tail will look like. See the tail there? This is the big bushy tail that's going to go up in the back. So I'm going to connect these two pieces together at the bottom here. See, these two go together like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and work this clay into the body. See, I'm taking my fingers and just kind of working it like that. We want to make sure that It's nice and tight. And then another tool that we want to use is, I'll show you, we're going to get a trusty little toothpick which can be bought in any supermarket or a drugstore. What I like about these toothpicks here is they got the points at both ends. And so the middle piece, you can use this to kind of push the clay together like this. See, I'm pushing the clay right through here, just to do that. And we'll do that. And it looks like it's connected pretty good now. So what I want to do is kind of tap this on the table a little bit. Do that. The next thing that we want to make is I want to work on the head. So we're going to take the head, which is this piece here. See the head here? And we'll kind of create that like nose. And I'll show you how to do that. We're going to proceed to make the head. I'm going to take and see how I'm just going to attach the head like that and then kind of squeeze the clay into the body like this. Just like that. You want to make sure it's nice and tight. See, I'm going around. Just make sure that you put that together. And then work that. What I want to do is I want to get a piece of clay and we'll create like the nose. I'm going to take a little piece of clay off of this here. And then I'll show you what we'll do. We almost want to make a triangular shape. See, I'm kind of making this a triangular shape like this. See that? That's what it will look like from the front. That's what it will look like from the side. So we're going to put this on right here. See, I'm kind of working that on. So we'll kind of create that little snout. Just kind of work it in like that. Go all the way around underneath. Just kind of work that in. We'll make sure that they're all connected pretty good. So that's pretty good so far. The piece that we just created, I'll show you. See how we just created this right here? We're going to put the little button-like nose, and we're going to put the button-like eyes, and then we're going to put ears up here. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to take another little piece of clay here, and just a little ball of clay, probably about this size. See that? And we're going to stick that in the front for the nose. See if it's about the right size. So I'm going to take this, stick this in front here, and see if it might be too big. So what I'm going to do, if it looks like it's too big, you can take away some of the clay like this. And now I'll show you how we'll make that a little better. Kind of make that type of shape. See the nose there? Kind of made that. It's similar to the nose on this guy right here. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do the eyes. So I'm going to take the eyes, and you take these balls of clay here, flatten them out like a pancake, and then you put them on the side of the head like this. And then we're going to proceed to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to take that, and do that. See how that looks? You know, don't worry so much about proportions now. You're learning how to use the clay. I'm going to make the ears now. So we're going to take a ball of clay here, and I'll show you, we want to make, this is the shape that we want to make. We want to make it round. See how I'm kind of making that round? On the bottom, we're going to kind of flatten that with our finger. And we'll see if that's about the right size. We'll make that one, and I'll proceed to make the other one, which is right here. Take that, see how I'm flattening that out? just like that. Tap it on the bottom. And they're about the same size. And we're going to put those on the head of the, see, I'm going to work that in right there, just like that. You go all the way around to work that into the head. Just like that. And we'll do it for both sides. Then we're going to proceed to take the second one. We'll do the same thing on the other side. See that there? Press that down and kind of work that in with your thumb. Work that clay in. And you go all the way around and you work it in like this. Just like that. Just like that. So now you can kind of see the face coming together. The next thing that we want to do is, I think we'll proceed to make the arms. So think of like a little log. So take this and you can, we'll actually roll this on the table, I think. We'll go down like this. Oh, doesn't matter if we knock them over. Take this, roll this piece of clay like this and make like a little log. Just like that. We just keep rolling, just like that. And then we can kind of curve it a little bit. We'll make it like into a little arm. See how that looks like a little arm now? The way I did it? And then we'll proceed to take this piece here and do the same exact thing. We'll roll and make the arm. Just like that. Try to make it a little bit longer. We'll try to make them approximately the same size. See, I just kind of rounding them off at the end. And if you look at these here, they're approximately the same size. So what we will proceed to do now is I'm going to take one of these arms and place it on this side of the squirrel right here and press it into the body, just like this. See, I'm just kind of pressing that in, working that in. And then what I also want to do is take the toothpick and go from the other side to kind of like push, make sure it attaches right there. See, I'm kind of pushing that. You want to make sure that you attach it from that side also. And then we'll proceed to do the other one. We'll take this, put this on here. See how I'm just working that clay in? Just kind of push that in like that and work it in. And then we're going to proceed to take this and do the same thing here. See how I'm going to take the toothpick and kind of work that together from that side so it doesn't fall off. And we'll do that. And another thing that we will do, we're going to make the legs next. See this shape here? We're going to make those legs, and then we'll attach them. I'm going to show you how to do that. You take this, squeeze the clay like this, and then at the bottom you're going to kind of pull out the foot. See, I'm just kind of pulling the foot out there. Do that, just like that. Just kind of do that. See, and we're going to do the other leg the exact same way. So I'm going to proceed to get this ball of clay here, and we're going to do the same thing here. It's going to make that shape. Going to work that. See, I'm working that. And then we're going to pull the foot out at the bottom. Just like that. Do that. And do that. So now we can proceed to put these on to the side of the squirrel. So I'm going to pick the squirrel up, and And we're going to place this on this side right here. See how I'm doing that? Just a very simple way of making a leg. Just going to work that in like that. Just like that. And then we're going to proceed to put the other one on the other side. So we're going to take that, and I'm going to put that approximately, I want to make sure they're approximately in the same place. And just press that into there, just like that. You see how we're just working that clay in like that? Just take your fingers and work it together, just like that. And I want to make sure that the tail is very well attached here. So what I'm going to do is take the toothpick here and kind of work some of this clay, go down behind the back and work this together. See, I'm pushing that in, because that, you don't want that to become disattached. And then just, and then if you want, another thing you can do is you can make the mouth. So I'm going to take, see this here? I'm going to take and make his little mouth like that. Take and use the toothpick to do that. Just like that. And we'll do it on the other side. We'll take, and you can see, I'll do the same thing on the other side, make that line. See how we made that? And another thing I want to do, because the clay, where it's so thick, is take on the bottom, just poke a hole with a toothpick underneath to just let some of the gases escape from the clay so it won't crack. And that's how you proceed to make the squirrel. But there's a few other things I want to do. There was a little sculpting tool that we're going to use. If you go to any art store, you can get little sculpting tools like this, and I'll show you the one that will be in this package. This one here, it's got the triangular shape. We're going to use this to kind of carve out the ears a little bit. So what we're going to do is take this right here, and we're just going to scoop out the ears a little bit like this. Just go in there, and scoop some of the clay out. We're going to do it on both sides. Going to get that, and you just get that, and it'll be nice. See how we scoop that out? You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you just want enough that makes that nice little ear. And then another thing that we want to do now is we're going to make the paws on the squirrel. So we'll do this. Take the toothpick, go 1, 2, 3. And then we'll go to the other side and do the same thing. You're going to do 1, 2, 3, just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing for the feet. So on the feet now, you're going to do 1, 2, 3. See how I made those little indentations? We'll do the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3. And now what we're going to proceed to do is we want to make fur all over the squirrel. So take your toothpick here now and just take these like short little strokes like this. See this how we're making the short little strokes? And this creates the fur. Just go all the way around like that. Just take it and just kind of work it a little bit like that. And see the effect it's starting to create? It gives a nice fur-like effect. So you just kind of do like short little strokes. Just like that. You do that. And then you want to do it on the legs. You're going to do the same thing here. Just take and, see how we're doing that? You want to get all the way around. Go all the way around and create that fur-like effect. And you want to do the arm. Do the same thing for the arm. And do that. Go all the way around like that. You want to do the body. And do that. And then you also want to do like the tail. So with the tail, you can take maybe little longer strokes. So see this? Just kind of take and do these nice long strokes for the squirrel's tail. Just kind of go like that, just like that. And you're going to do that all the way around the tail. Take those short strokes. And you're going to work your way around. Do it on this side. And then you're going to make the little lines on the leg here, like that, the arm, the body, and even around the facial area, you'll make all those little fur lines. So I'll show you what it will look like when you're done. This is one I did last night. See how we did the fur? You got the nose, the eyes, you got the 2 ears. You see how I made the fur? You can see all the fur. I used the toothpick and went all around the body. Did the legs, the tail, just everything. And that's the way he should look just before he's going to be painted. I'll show you how to paint the squirrel. We're going to need several colors. And we'll get them. These are acrylic paints, which can be bought in any art store. And we will use, I think we're going to use gray, black, and white. And I'll show you how we'll proceed to do that. Get the white out, the black, the gray, and we will push these aside over here. We don't need, and then I'll show you we're going to have a few brushes. This brush here will do for the eyes and the nose. For the body, the white part of the body, we can use this size brush here. And then for the rest of the body, the gray, I think we'll use this big brush because we can cover a lot of area with that. So I'll proceed to do the white first. We'll take this white paint and we'll do the underside of the squirrel. I'm going to take this, dip this in like this, and then you pick up the squirrel, and we're going to paint the front of the body here. See this right here? The white underside? Back and forth, back and forth. Just going to paint right about here, back and forth, back and forth. See, back and forth, just like that. I'm just going to work that in. I'm going to do that. I want to make sure I get a little more paint on there. Just go up and down with the strokes like this. And that's the area that you want to paint white. So that's the underside. The next step in the process is we're going to paint with the black. So I want to put the white paint away. And we'll use the black paint. We'll proceed to use the small brush for that. And then I'm going to paint the nose. See the nose here? I'm going to paint that right there. I'm going to do the nose. And then we're going to paint the eyes right here. We'll proceed to do the other one. Just like that. You know, don't worry if you get a little extra paint on. You can always paint over the black with the gray. But that's how you would paint the eyes and the nose. The next thing that we want to do is we want to paint the gray. And we're going to use a bigger brush for this because you're able to cover more area and territory with that. So take this, and I'll show you. He's going to paint back and forth like this. See that? Back and forth, back and forth. And do that again, back and forth, back and forth. Now we're going to proceed to paint the entire squirrel, this color, all gray. So you're going to paint the arms, the face, his ears, just like this. The face. When you're using this brush, just try to take smaller strokes because you don't want to paint over the black that you've done. Just keep going around, and then we're just going to go around the entire squirrel in this manner. Proceed to do the tail, the nice bushy tail. Just go back and forth, just like that. We're going to go all the way around, just like that. See how we're doing the back and forth stroke? You can just proceed to do the entire squirrel's tail in that manner. Back and forth, back and forth. And I'll show you, you want to do the other side, the other arm with the gray like that. See how we're doing that with the back and forth? You can do the leg. Just let it go back and forth, do that whole thing. Just like that. And you're going to proceed to paint the entire squirrel in that manner. I'll show you what the finished squirrel should look like. This is the finished squirrel. See how the black nose, the black eyes. We got the arms. We got the white underbelly. And basically you're painting the rest of the squirrel gray. Just like that. And now it's a nice little project. You know, it's a very cute little animal, and you can, once you build them and paint them, you can put them up on the shelf and enjoy looking at them. I do want to thank you for coming to the show Creations in Clay, and I do look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks again. Hi kids, how would you like to win some professional modeling clay like the one that I use in the show? Please send pictures of your creations in clay and we will enter them into a drawing. You can send by mail or email, and I can't wait to see what you've been up to.